meeting's about ready to start. You can take your,
This is yours.
this meeting is live. This is the Attica Redevelopment Commission meeting, RDC. Running a little late here. Want to welcome everybody. Roll call. Joanne, you want to do that?
Sure.
Here, please.
Mr. Kemple,
Present.
Mrs. Nagel, Mr. Crane,
Present.
Mr. Gaylor,
He was here.
He was here.
Mayor Grant,
Present.
Cindy Mason,
Here.
Kaylee Carnahan.
Present.
Okay. Do we have minutes from the October meeting?
Me?
Yes.
It's like, I wasn't here.
I'm just
Yes.
rolling off my tongue.
I didn't have a chance to lay them out.
Okay, I'll take one and pass it down.
Okay.
Please take a minute to look at these.
Oh my gosh, I can't, my fingers are. Okay.
Thank you.
Do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
Second?
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve the minutes of October the 13th. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, treasurer's report.
Just keep it here in your face.
Just a second. I said the door was too loud. Oh, yeah, I just printed it off. We have, I don't know what I did with that, a little bit over $500,000. We will not receive our next revenue installment until property taxes, the end of November, 1st of December.
After, you said end of November, beginning of December?
Yes. Yeah, I printed it off. It's probably in my office.
Okay, so around $500,000.
Yeah, it's closer to 600,000, but
Okay.
yes.
I'm gonna pass this
Yes.
down. I sent out an email to everybody about my discussion with Ben Dispatch, who's with HWC, and works as a community liaison on development. And so I'm sharing that.
And this has to be
And-
done today too.
Yeah. Yeah. This is concerning Cable One development and where we stand on that. And he has sent an example of an FRI, which is a request for information. And that's what would be sent out to developers of what type is the best use of that land at Cable One. Is it patio condos? Is it patio single homes? We send out the information of what we're thinking about developing and what makes the most sense. And they're going to be looking at it, rightfully so, from a developer's point of view. How are they going to make the most money? But hopefully their motivation and ours line up. Maybe it's going to be a combination of patio condos and patio homes, or maybe it's going to be just the condos, or maybe it's just going to be the patio homes. But that's what we get back from the developer of what they think would be the best development for our community. And so he has put together an actual RFP that I thought I sent to everybody. Did I send that?
You did, you sent it to
Yep.
me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so I was thinking about having, here it is, which talks about the introduction of the purpose, and it talks about city develop an age-targeted 55-plus residential community, critical need for high-quality, market-rate senior housing to serve its growing older population and attract new residents. The FRI is intended to gather information on development concepts, financial capacity, and operational models to assist us in determining the most effective strategy for the development. And then that would lead to the RFP, where we actually get proposals in from a developer and saying, okay, we can do this. We might build you, 24 condos or 24 patio condos or patio homes. We would get more specific in what the actual layout would be and the roads and stuff. That would be after the RFI. First comes the RFI on what they think would be the best type of development, The RFP is going to give you an actual plan to look at, you know, how the roads are laid out and everything, what the houses would look like. The city goal is to construct a residential development specifically for the people aged 55 and older. And they go on to say, this is all in the RFI, townhouses, villas, cottage homes, apartments that promote active adult lifestyles and age-friendly design. The site location, it's 7 acres. It is owned by us, which is the Redevelopment Commission, and it borders Harrison Hills Golf Course and Country Club. And it also borders Gulf Ridge Housing Development. The intent, land, let's see, city intent and potential incentives. And it's talking about they may consist of land disposition, negotiated sale, or lease of the RDC loan property. We would talk about infrastructure assistance, which could be using TIF funds, and then permitting zoning, which would expedite review of necessary zoning amendments and permitting processes. Once you establish whether or not it's going to be a condo or if it's going to be a single home, that's going to drive your zoning, whether it's going to be an R1 or an R3 or an R2. Okay. And then it says what we need from the developer. We would need their letter of interest, the developer experience portfolio, the concept site and unit count, which would be the preliminary concept illustrating the intended land use, the density, unit mix, housing type, number of proposed units, quantity for sale and for lease units, and then providing a character image of the proposed homes. Preliminary financial statement would also be included in the stuff that they're giving back to us, and then a projected timeline. And then we would set up that they are to submit their RFIs to the Redevelopment Commission Administrator at our email, or give our phone number, and the date that we would request all those. So this is what we got back from
That's Ben came up with that whole
Ben.
thing. That was
Yeah.
so nice. That is super.
Yeah,
that's
it's
super
very
great.
something that we could just take that and fill in the blanks almost and say that we want to include this or we want to include that. Ben also sent an email saying that here's attached is the draft, which I just read basically. And it says the RDC may consider for use to solicit interested developers, where we send out a letter of people that we know are into the development, in addition to sending to the Builders Association of Lafayette, which would be another resource for us to go after. It says there are a few things that would likely increase your response rate from qualified developers. In short, the more information you provide and the clearer your articulation, you can articulate the vision, the easier it is for them to decide if they want to do a submission. And it talks about the what would improve our FRI. And that would be including the resource information on the county, which would do our average age. And there was a study that was done by Lilly for the foundation that talked about the second most income in our areas from our retired folks. You know, and these are the folks that are wanting to downsize. It also talked about we would need the ALTA survey, the topographic survey, phase 1 of ESAs, geotechnical studies, title work, copies of deeds, etc.
And that's all stuff that we need to gather or
Yeah,
do, 'cause we don't have any of
yeah.
that.
So there's a list of stuff that we could do to make it even, better.
Quick question, did Ben hire HWC to do this? Instead of us doing it in turn, have them do it? Did he happen to mention a cost?
No, he did not.
Because my initial thought is have them do this. And we've been talking about this, and also the 200 block down on Perry Street.
Mhm.
Even though we can't build on it now, but to get it out there and start getting the ball rolling on that, killing two birds with one stone. Get a cost from HWC for them to do this for us. Yeah, there's going to be a cost involved, but this is what they do for a living, to do that. So
Well, and I can talk to him, and this was primarily, and for your information
Yep.
tonight of what has happened so far, and then how we want to move forward. And I can get with,
Yeah,
Ben again and say, what would it cost? And I know he would want to say you need to have a public hearing where you're presenting these ideas to the community and what's their response. That's part of the thing that he thinks we need to be doing. So anyway, we can discuss this and I can get back with him and we can round it up and nail it down at the December meeting.
Okay.
How does that sound?
Good. Yes, you motion.
Okay. The next thing on the agenda tonight is the budget for 2026. And Joanne, do you have,
I've handed the 2026 spending plan out on the very last page that has the itemization. I also have a copy of the spending plan that we did from 2025, but I didn't make copies for everybody, it was just as a point of reference. If you recall, 2025 was the first year,
I know,
the budget for 2025 was the first year that it actually had to be a formalized spending plan and submitted to the state. So this is the second year for the 2026 budget.
okay, so if you guys want to fill in the blanks of what we did last year, or for this year, that might help us to come up with the new figures for next year.
Okay.
And this needs to be done basically tonight. Debt service, we had none.
We have none on for debt service.
Right.
Okay.
Bonds, leasing finances, and tax anticipation, 0. Capital expenditure in the economic development plan or redevelopment plan, that was $100,000. That has been used. That is where we bought the property at Cable Lane.
Okay.
So that has been depleted. Then we have professional expenses. Do you know off the top of your head, Joanne, how much we've already allotted from that?
I think it's 25, wasn't it? 25 or?
I think it might be a little bit
I
more
mean,
than
it
that.
would be on the 2025 one, that what we allotted. You're talking about what?
No, I'm
what we
asking what we actually
Yeah,
spent.
I'm not sure.
Okay, so we allotted $50,000 and we know professional services run, especially if we're going to have a lot. And if we have, next year it'd be coming out of the budget for HWC to do the preparation. And this includes Tom Pittman's fees that he submits to us.
I feel like I had a number in my brain and it was like 25 to 35 is what we spent. That was what
You're right.
Okay,
You're
it
right.
was around that number.
Okay, 25 to 35
I
spent.
feel like
The
that number.
printout's on my printer in my
No,
office.
no, I feel like that's just what I'm recalling, but I.
We made no grants. The only other expenditure that we had out was educational and training programs, and that was set aside for any development that we could use at the schools. And that did not come up. That has not been utilized. But you can do that with TIF money. You can set aside like 15% towards development in that area with the school.
Okay, so now with our new, with the new spending plan that we have to do,
So we just need to,
go back through and say what we want to do
Yes.
for this now, for this round.
yes,
So debt services,
No,
I would say that's,
We don't have any.
anything.
we don't
Okay.
have anything.
Bond proceeds, lease financing, or tax anticipation.
No.
one
No.
is- We don't, okay. Capital expenditures. That was something, didn't we kind of like make that be kind of broad? Didn't we kind of make
Yes.
that be very
Yes.
general so that we
Yes.
could kind of pick and choose out of it as we needed?
yes.
Well, I also wanted us to be cognizant of the budget that the city is dealing with. And I know this is not city money. This is redevelopment, TIF money. What is your feeling?
Well, I look at it this way, this money, yeah, we want to build up a certain amount, but it's the small little things that we can do that will add up to big things. Prime example is they've got a grant program that's already been approved and so forth that West Central's working on putting in the kayak rental. Well, there's going to have to be a concrete platform poured for that to go there. In my mind, that's something that we should pay out
Well,
of.
if they've got millions of dollars from Lilly, I say, let's not put our city money towards that. I mean, if we can work together, Tim, I mean, they got that huge grant,
I understand that.
the foundations did.
Myself personally, I would like just a small amount. When I say a small amount, that $20,000, we set aside $20,000 for recreational improvement. When I say recreational improvement, we've got some things that's going on right now, and I'm going to specifically talk about Bi-County Soccer. Okay, they're down on that lot down there, and you know, some time ago they asked to move down the riverfront, and because the initial plan was put a doggy park and a big playground down there, that got to the side. If they would move down there, then that would open that up for development. So
Okay.
I'm saying we just need to set
Okay.
some money aside for
So
that.
do you want to set aside another 100,000? If we spend it, it's there. If we don't
No.
spend it,
We don't
Where's
have
it go? On the those.
it just comes back.
just
It
comes
It just comes
doesn't
back.
go away.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
We did that, yeah, we just did that. I don't
So-
see us
so there's-
anticipating any more than that.
so 100,000 for that
Under
area.
capital expenditures.
Yeah.
Yeah, same.
Same
Same
with-
with this
Professional
and
expenses,
this
go
can be-
ahead with 50.
Yeah, I think that. Then we can modify this throughout the year if it's necessary.
You want to just keep everything else the same?
What
Yep.
about, well, yeah, I mean, I guess, because
Yeah, I mean, everything, really nothing's changing. I think what we have budgeted will suffice what we're planning to do.
This education thing that you mentioned, is there a need to put money aside for that then? Or?
I would leave it in the budget, just
Okay.
because we don't know for sure. We
Okay,
don't know
okay.
for sure.
and we didn't use it last year.
Okay.
But it was at least an option, I guess, then that was because we had put it into the budget.
How
Okay.
much was that?
38.
So basically, the budget is going to stand the same as it was last year
At 188.
at
I'll make that
188.
motion.
Okay,
Was
so
that
That
in,
was the employee, what's that right?
188.
I was wrong, the educational, I put on the wrong one. It's this one above that. It was the education.
It's been moved that we appropriate a budget the same as it was this year for 188.
Mhm,
And that educational's the other 38.
mhm.
Do I have a second on that?
I'll second.
Okay, moved and seconded that we submit that budget. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
Aye.
opposed? Okay, I think that's the fastest meeting we've ever had.
I
Wait,
would agree.
wait, I got one more thing. I did send the email to Cindy and Joanne about the lawn was mowed at
Yes.
K1. I just sent it over. It was $800, the same as it was before. So it was
Great.
moved down.
And it looks nice, I
Yeah,
saw
it does.
it.
So I
I'll
just-
make the motion to adjourn.
So moved. Our next meeting is December 8th, and we will get with you with the time.
Because we might change it up a little bit. You're the best. I told you it's fast.